Skylark, I don't know if you could find these things.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Creative Bussinessmen. Today's episode we have the very talented Criss Cain with us. He is the personal assistant and photographer for Ann Wilson of Heart. He's also a very talented vocalist and musician. He's a cinematographer. He's really just a very talented all-around artist. And I think you guys are going to be really excited to learn more about him. Also, be sure to check out the description of the video so you can follow him on Instagram and follow Ann Wilson on Instagram. You can see what their current projects are. And also, be sure to like and subscribe to the show. We really appreciate your support and hope you'll take this journey with us. So, here we go. Well, hey, Criss.
Hey, hey.
Pleasure to meet you.
Thanks. Nice to be here.
Yeah. So where are you from?
Grew up in Nebraska. Born in Nebraska. Grand Island, Nebraska.
Wow. Okay. And did you get into music out there, or what led you to music?
Depression, mostly. That was the thing I could do by myself. So that I think it started probably more with impressions, like Jim Carrey when I was a kid, and I just loved morphing my voice around, and that was the only muscle I had any ability to work out. So my brother and sister are both basketball players, and always seemed to have a more direct connection with what they love to do with society. With basketball, and mine was more of like some. If I sang the right song, then your parents are proud of you.
Right.
But you get into Ozzy Osbourne, they're like, oh, God, what the fuck is he doing? Are we allowed to swear on here?
Of course, yeah. There's no rules.
That's a good point, though. I remember like being shunned a little bit because I liked some of the Marilyn Manson songs. Mm-hmm. Now, I was probably like 11 or 12, but I mean, it was good music. I still listen to it today.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're very right. Like, it's amazing what... Like, the behavior is encouraged until you do it. We don't want you to do it that way, though.
Yeah. Don't express yourself that way.
Yeah.
No. Art is taking it too far.
Right. Yeah. Too much expression.
Yeah.
So was anyone in your family musically inclined, or it sounds like you're into music and maybe acting or performance art?
Yeah, performance. I mean, I got a little Fisher-Price style microphone with a stand. On my third birthday from my grandpa.
Oh.
And I was telling jokes with it, I remember, too.
Oh, that's cool.
I would try to memorize jokes, and I had one that God, it's so dirty, but it got laughs, and I didn't know what it meant.
Yeah.
But it always worked. And so I
Do you still remember it?
Oh, yeah.
Can you tell it?
Yeah. So, it was, there's a woman, it's such a, I don't even know if you can tell this in 2021. I know you can't. So, there's a woman, she's working at a sperm bank, right? And this guy comes in with a hockey mask on. And she's like, no, I don't think you understand what kind of bank this is, sir. And he's like, I don't care, lady, open that door behind you. And so, she opens the door, and there's cups and cups of sperm just lining the walls. And the guy says, now drink one. And she's like, no, what? And he holds a gun up, to her. And she goes, okay. She drinks one. And he says, all right, drink another one. Holds the gun up. She's like, okay, I'll drink one. So anyway, she's down 17 cups of sperm by this point. And the guy takes off his hockey mask and he goes, see, honey, it's not that hard. Always killed. Especially when you're 8,
That's hilarious.
It's really funny picturing an 8-year-old telling that joke.
Yeah.
That's great.
Probably makes it a little funnier.
Yeah, that's good.
How did your family react the first time you told that one?
I mean, I just remember it was always at family gatherings. That's when my dad would
even better.
That's when my dad would pay me $1 to sing or tell a joke.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Or probably more than $1. I was thrifty.
Hey.
At a young age.
What did you sing at a young age that he would have you sing? I'm curious now.
I mean, I don't remember the exact songs that I would sing in those moments, but it was probably something. I liked LeAnn Rimes when I was real young.
See,
She had a very clear voice. I didn't like country that had twang. I was a vocal snob early. I liked clearer tones.
so you can tell the difference in our parents. Like your parents saw something deep within you, right? And they'll let you sing that. I sang little ooh, suck on my chocolate salty balls. They're packed full of vitamins and good for you. That's what I was singing. And they would have me do it too in front of people, except there was no like real vocal talent. It was just funny as hell. And I knew what it
Did you do the whole Cartman dance?
Oh yeah, man. I was in like 6th grade, so however old that is. And I was
11.
Yeah, so you know, fairly young but old enough to know what the hell it meant. So I thought it was funny.
Sing it, Daniel.
Ooh, suck on my chocolate salty balls.
Put them in your mouth and suck them.
Dun 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 dun. They're packed full of vitamins and good for you. So suck on my balls.
I was singing "Come Sail Away" as Cartman before I knew. That was the shit I did. That was.
Can
what
you
I liked
still
to
do that?
awesome.
Oh, I'm sure. I bet you money.
On the spot, right?
I'm sailing around, pictures of agencies. I've got to be free.
Something like that. That's what I would do. That with my cousins. I love impersonating the stuff we thought was funny. Wayne's World and all that. You know.
Oh yeah. So did you? What did you do with music after? I guess once you got out, once you were an adult, you got out of school and pursued something. It's interesting. You're from Nebraska because it's not a place you would think is conducive to art and music and.
No, but to learn how to sing by yourself, it's the perfect place.
Yeah.
We have basements there.
Right.
Because of tornadoes. And basements are very good for learning an instrument or singing. But we moved to Kansas City briefly when I was in middle school, and that was the first theater thing that I did because Kansas City was more conducive to that. So I was able to go into it, get into audition, make it into this little, hoity-toity kind of glee kind of situation.
Yeah.
And I learned I hated dancing. So I was the only person at this school for a while that was not forced to dance because I was able to sing the solos and move around people.
Yeah,
Like do a share situation, a bunch of backup dancers. Was cool. But then I would sing the solos and stuff. But no, I couldn't dance, and I never did. So I didn't go theater as much, but I went college back in Nebraska. Then I started an Ozzy Osbourne cover band.
Oh, nice.
When I was 14. And we did a school talent show, and I performed Crazy Train with 3 other dudes in my class.
Cool.
And,
What was the name of the cover band?
Black Illusion, which was the name of an Ozzy song that was like modern at that time, 2001 era.
Okay.
And it was an illusion of it being Black Sabbath. That was the play on words I liked about it. But we played that show, and there was this dude at that show who then hired us to play a bike rally from that performance. So then we played in front of like 8,000 people or something, our second gig ever.
That's incredible.
So
and how old were you?
then I got the bug of,
14.
shit.
14?
A huge crowd.
Wow.
Yeah. 14.
What was the name of the biker club now?
Well, it was the Thunderfest Rally.
Thunderfest
in
Rally.
Grand Island,
It was
Nebraska.
also Black Illusion.
Yes.
Yeah.
So a bunch of 14-year-old kids then playing a bike rally with 30-some, 40-some-year-old women flashing us.
Awesome.
That's what it was.
So you grew up fast.
Yes, it was quick. And it was the first time I ever said the F word in front of my family, because I'm Ozzy Osbourne at this show, and I have to be. I'm getting paid to be.
Yeah.
Getting paid to swear. That's the way I looked at it. I was like, this is the coolest fucking thing ever. It was so cool.
That's awesome.
And then I went to college for singing because I was like, I'm not going to go to college, or I'm going to go for singing. That's all I wanted to do.
Right.
And so I went to McNally Smith College of Music in St. Paul, Minnesota. And it was a contemporary music school, so one semester I was in like a Queen cover band, and then another semester we did an Ozzy cover band one year, and we got to do Judas Priest and Iron Maiden and all this really cool metal, and then that's where I got into jazz though, and then jazz kind of took over my brain as far as how I sing now today. It's no matter what I'm singing from the jazz toolkit.
Very
Because
cool.
once you get that, I don't know how you
What's
stop.
what's the differentiation between what you were singing like rock and jazz?
Rock, I was more learning the notes, note for note.
Yeah.
And jazz, you learn the notes and then you play with the chords. So you don't, if you're singing Iron Man, you're not going to be throwing in sharp 11s and flat 9s and things that don't fit that song. And with jazz, let's say you sing a song like Skylark. Okay, so it's like, can you put this on? Can this even?
Yeah,
run
you can
on the
you can do that.
podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Sued
Especially if it's
by-
live.
Sued by dead people. Skylark, I don't know if you could find these things, but my heart is riding on your wings. So if you see them anywhere, won't you lead me there? So that's like the melody. That's
Yeah.
just what you learn as a beginning student. And then it's like, Skylark, I don't know if you could find these things, but my heart is riding on your wings. So if you see them anywhere, won't you lead me there? So that's what you get to do. You get to just sing it totally different every time, and that is the ADHD dream come true. Never have
incredible,
to do
man.
the same thing twice.
So jazz is more like free flowing.
You get to live. You get to breathe it.
Yeah.
You're communicating the only way you. In my case, the only way you ever have figured out how to do that is complete enough.
Right.
The right words are getting out.
Yeah, I never really liked jazz when I was younger until I started playing around with the drums a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, I get it now. Like and I love to watch jazz musicians just jam.
Oh, yeah. The faces, too.
Really cool.
That's the smiling factor, too. You never see jazz musicians in a bad mood ever.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, it's kind of the opposite of the blues, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even that, though,
Still incredible.
You're getting your blues out, so you're
Yeah.
usually pretty joyous when you're in a blues band, too.
Jazz seems more intense. It's like it's almost like they're hurting the instruments.
Yeah. And making mistakes,
Right.
too, because so much of it is against the pop ear, that a lot of it can sound wrong to, Leanne Rimes listeners.
Right, yeah. Yeah, but it's very impressive.
Yeah.
So you mentioned tornadoes in Nebraska.
Mm.
Did you ever experience any of those
Oh, yeah.
giant tornadoes?
Oh, yeah. Well, my parents went through the 1980 tornado in Grand Island, which is my hometown, and that's the one where Night of the Twisters, you remember that movie?
Yeah.
With Devon Sawa? Didn't know we'd be talking about Devon Sawa tonight. Night of the
Deep cuts.
Twisters, that was my hometown. That's where that was set.
Oh, wow,
Based
okay.
the story. So there were 8 tornadoes one night in 1980 that destroyed the whole city.
Wow.
And I remember being a kid, and we'd go. Well, prior to an Ozzy cover band gig, we would storm chase when they were in the area and stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
They were like, he was gonna possibly cancel our gigs. I'm like, we're gonna go find this bitch. But yeah, no, those were always. You had basements to get away, so it's
Yeah.
not as scary to me as like a hurricane
Right.
or something that you can't get away from.
Did you ever have any close calls where you're chasing tornadoes?
Probably.
Just too young to be aware of it.
Yeah. Just stupid at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. What did your parents do when you were a kid?
My father is a furniture salesman, and now in management positions, and that's what brought them here, High Point, North Carolina, furniture.
Yeah, makes sense.
And my mother was stay-at-home mom, and then odd jobs, and she, she's the reason I know how to do any actual handiwork.
Okay.
She always did that stuff. My father still has no idea how to change a tire. For sure.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's a cool dynamic.
Yeah.
So your mom's more mechanically inclined.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Or she just figure it out.
Right,
always.
yeah. Someone had to do it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So what, after college, professionally, what was next?
I got a job singing on a cruise ship, Carnival Cruise Lines. And the first one was out of Europe, so that was so great. That was like, wow, now, because I got paid to swear. And then this one I looked at it, I got paid to go to Rome.
Right.
That's the way I look at jobs. Like, what am I getting paid to do here? And so we did the whole Mediterranean coast from Barcelona to Greece, and it was awesome. And plus, those cruise crowds, if you're off the boat in Rome all day, when you come back, you don't want to dance or go to a band. You want to go to bed. So then we had a lot of gigs canceled, and we just go to bed too, which is cool.
Oh, nice.
When you're doing 6 nights out of 7, the occasional canceled gig is so awesome.
Yeah.
Which is funny because canceled gigs suck everywhere else in the world.
Yeah. But then in that case, you're just getting paid to be on vacation.
Yeah.
And travel the world.
Finally catch up on sleep because Acropolis took all of your time.
Yeah.
Or whatever the weird thing that you're doing is. Mount Vesuvius, or that was cool. That was cool.
I think it's important though that or it's cool that you did that, because we talk about it a lot is you create your own construct, you know. And I was telling Eric that one day about it was like 2:00 in the afternoon. We were talking. He was talking about he wants to do more or do better. And I was like, well, dude, just 2:00 in the afternoon on Wednesday. You've won the game. You just have to figure out how to, gain more resources, but still, you're doing it.
Yeah.
So what's have you been in any other? Did you ever have any professional bands after that were like you were performing with other people after that, or?
You did a lot of touring, and you worked on some cruise ships and stuff like that, yeah?
Yeah, the cruise ship was the last like band thing that I did, and that got done in 2015.
Oh, so you did that for a long time.
I just did it for a couple years.
Oh, okay.
I took 2 years off in the middle of college too, and moved to LA to just see that city and be there for a little bit.
How was that?
I worked at Universal Studios in Hollywood doing the Halloween Horror Nights there that year, which was also, then I'm getting paid to scare people. So, all these, like, check, all this shit.
Fun stuff, yeah.
Oh, man, it was so great. And, you're not paid anything. It's a terrible wage, but it's so fun. The first 3 days, though, I didn't think I was going to be able to make it because they zip you up into a mask that's skin tight, movie quality latex mask, and I was a clown with a chainsaw. So at the end of day one, like you have to have a break every 30 minutes because you're dying.
Yeah.
And so you take a 15-minute break in this area backstage that they set up so nice to make you all feel like real actors, They set it up very Hollywood, and a lot of these people come from outside of Hollywood to do it too, or as like a way into the union, because you're able to get into the union if you work.
Oh,
at
cool!
Universal Studios
Yes, that
Hollywood.
makes a lot of sense.
So I wasn't trying to get into the union, but that's an option. So a lot of people start there.
A lot of actors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so you peel off this mask and you go back in this catering room, and this year was so fantastic because it was like there was a child's play maze. And so there were probably 150 little people that were hired to play Chucky.
Oh, wow.
And all of them were in full-blown Universal Studios quality Chucky makeup,
Oh, that's bizarre.
all eating dinner with you. Fucking crazy.
Did you get any
So-
pictures of that?
You weren't allowed. No
Oh.
way. Like
That's an actual nightmare, by
Yes.
the way. That's an actual nightmare I've had.
yeah, I felt a little like Judy Garland in the darker parts of the set.
Sounds like a better version of the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. Yes. So that was really just fun. I like doing fun things and then still having no money. That's most of my life.
Sounds like you had a fun life, though, dude.
No, yeah, it's
You're doing
cool. I could die tomorrow and be cool. Yeah.
That's
very
the
cool, man.
construct, right?
Yeah.
You know, create your own construct. And
So
Yeah.
what are you doing right now?
Yeah, so then everything changes. And I got off the ship. My parents and family, brother and sister, had moved here. So then I came here and met Trundy at the comedy club, the Idiot Box. Joined the improv troupe right away, which I'd never done improv or stand-up. And stand-up was the scariest thing in the world to me, but also Norm Macdonald being my biggest hero. Even from a very young age, I saw him on Saturday Night Live, and I knew that he was way funnier than the rest of the show because the crowd was booing him. Like, to me, that was like, that's funny. That's way funnier. And so him being my biggest hero, I always wanted to try stand-up just to get the shit out of my system and be proud of myself for another just random weird thing.
Yeah.
And I tried a few. I was just thinking earlier, I mean, I would just try some great... do you remember, Eric, when I did the scat song?
yes.
Oh my God! I just thought of that today. I had totally forgot about it, and I had a story. I was also coming out of the closet at this point too. I mean, I had a couple years earlier, but stand up to me was like I never wanted to do stand up unless I could talk about real stuff, and I knew I was lying for so long, so there wasn't much use for me to do stand up if I was hiding myself.
Yeah.
But I had just this random idea one night on the way to the club, and it was a story about how, you know, a guy had picked me up at a show and then asked me to scat to him in bed. And then the joke was that, like, I scatted while I was blowing him. And I did this whole 4.5 minute Ella Fitzgerald scat, note for note. Note for note, but
Wow.
I don't know who enjoyed that, but I did.
I did. I did, and that guy did.
That's funny.
So I had some good times with that stuff too, and
Yeah.
met a bunch of filmmakers. I'd made a lot of movies, home movies with like my cousins and stuff growing up.
Oh, that's cool.
We would shoot our own Saturday Night Live sketches with Wayne's World, for instance, where we'd play the characters or stuff like that. And so we'd always played with cameras, but I never took it seriously. And so North Carolina has a great film community. This is why Nebraska wouldn't have worked for a lot of this stuff too. Like I had to bounce out a little bit.
Yeah.
And I met up with the film community, and so I brought the film community then into the Idiot Box too. I was like, we got to utilize all these incredible performers here. And
Right.
so then Eric, we did a 48-hour film project and starring Eric Trundy called There Goes Eric, and you can look it up on YouTube. And I wrote
saw that
like
one,
a
right?
little jingle
Yeah,
thing.
I think I showed that to you
Yeah, it was good.
a while back. It was a lot of fun. So the night before we shot it is when they messaged me and they said, "Hey, we're gonna you want to be in this 48-hour film festival?" And I said, "For sure I do." And they said, "Good, because it's about you."
And one of the first viral videos I remembered seeing when I was young in Nebraska was Red House Furniture. You remember that?
Yes. Yeah, that was the furniture place I was telling you about the other day. We went in and shot over there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
So
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
it had this crazy viral video that was like that these dudes from in the area, I'm sure, they're pretty big comic duo that do a lot of things now, but they did this commercial for Red House Furniture that was so funny and anyway, you can look that up. But this place was that comedy was so inspired to me that I was like, can we shoot there? Because it was right in High Point.
Yeah.
So we shot this thing there too, which I loved. Anyway, did lots of these little 48-hour film project things and learned a lot about film and cameras. And that's where I decided to pitch an idea to Ann Wilson, because Heart was going on hiatus in 2016, at the end of 2016. And Ann Wilson's solo was more my jam. When I went to an Ann Wilson solo show in 2015, she would do, like a song like Isolation by John Lennon with very pulled back piano and just sultry, incredible tones. And jazzier stuff. It was a small club type place in Annapolis, Maryland, and everything about it was just so intimate and real and raw. And I was like, ooh, I want to work with her on a solo career, if that would be at all possible, like do videos for her. So I had this team in North Carolina that I trusted so much, and I pitched an idea that we would shoot a film for her of her solo show that they were going to play in North Carolina. So I sent this email and heard back hours later from her husband, and
wow.
Invited me to her house 2 weeks later to shoot the rehearsals. And so I took a 2-person crew to that, and I'm just in the rehearsal room with Ann fucking Wilson.
That's amazing. It just happened so quickly.
Vocal hero. Oh, yeah. It was insane how fast. And so then I put out a film a few months after that, and we just hit it off. And
Is the film on YouTube or?
Yeah. It's called Ann Wilson in Focus.
Okay.
And it's 2 hours and 40 minutes because
wow.
because I was like, fuck it, we don't have a label. We
no
don't
rules.
have
Yeah.
anybody telling us we have to cut things down. There's no notes from a court. It was, and to Ann, I think that was pretty unleashed feeling from coming, especially what she did in the 80s. And
for sure, yeah. She was always
so constricted in a lot of ways. And I always liked things like how Elton John would put out a song, Someone Saved My Life Tonight, and the label's like, you have to cut it down. He's like, well, then the song won't come out. And then they release it on radio. Like that was a rock and roll thing that I kind of wanted to do with this too. Like,
well, now the gatekeepers are falling away, so which is great.
Yeah. So it's for the true fans, but people seem to like it even if they aren't a super fan, because you learn a lot. There's a lot of info.
For sure. She's had a lot of experiences.
Yeah.
Incredible experiences, I'm sure. I'll have to check that out. It's interesting.
Yeah. And then in 2019, Hart came back to do a tour, and so then I was on that tour, and that was a North America, Canada, and United States.
Nice. Now, do you go to all the shows? You just travel with them?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was 54 times I got to see Ann Wilson sing in a year.
And you get to see
I'm like, I get paid to see Ann Wilson sing 54 times this year. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's
crazy.
Awesome. And I'm sure you're friends with her now. So
yes, and
which is awesome. Yeah.
It was so funny because we got so close during the downtime before that 2019 Heart tour. And then the first day of the tour started, and we watched the first show, and this person who was my friend now was Ann Wilson again. And I had almost like a full week of like weird starstruckness again.
Yeah.
That I hadn't had when she was just a regular person off stage, but when this whole soul-crushing thing comes, just bone-crushing voice comes out in a amphitheater. That's intense.
Now, you also have quite the voice, so I'm sure that's you get to do all the sound checks and play with the band and sing with the band and stuff to set up, right?
I get to jam around, yes, which is so...
What's that like?
These guys are the sweetest people in the world, like... And, it's not even about just singing with these great players. When you are such close friends with people that talk about everything on the bus, and just really like give yourselves fully to the project and to each other, and we all idolize our boss so much, Anne, and just when you're all working together like that, and then you get to play music together too.
Yeah.
The music moments are like super orgasmic.
It's awesome. Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, Tom Bukovac, by the way. You guys have wives or spouses?
Yeah.
Okay. I texted him this morning because he has the best questions, and he said he wanted this question to be asked.
Nat.
Yeah, we got Nat. So Tom Bukovac, you told him you're going to be on the podcast, and he's sending in a question.
Yes, here's a question. Because he's got the best question. That's why I asked him for questions. What's the absolute best thing about your wife or significant other, and the absolute worst thing?
I feel like you should do the worst thing first,
Right.
and end with something nice. That's a trick question.
Neil, I'll let you go first.
Oh, man. I don't know if I want
This
to
is what we do on the bus. This is just letting people in.
Yeah. Worst thing. I don't keep score of this. It's hard for me to
Yeah.
know the worst thing.
What's the best
I
thing?
let things go real easy.
Yeah, you don't let things, you don't hold on to things.
No.
What's the best thing?
That's her complaint about him.
I definitely know the worst things about me. But she's, she's very loving, kind. She's a great wife, great mother, incredible mother. Yeah, like our daughter, says she's her best friend and stuff, and
That's awesome.
yeah, she's just a good person, and she probably thinks I'm crazy.
I bet she knows you're crazy.
Yeah,
and that's the best thing about her. You said something, Daniel, one time, which I thought was incredibly sweet. You said every time, no matter what's going on in your life and blah, 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 when you get home, there's lemon water.
Yeah, so I would say for Jessica, a phenomenal mother and probably an anchor for me because, I'm very, I don't know if the word gypsy soul, I'm always doing something. I'm always traveling. I'm always on the road. And so she's, something that helps keep me grounded, I think.
Yeah.
But it's awesome, though. I come in at 4 o'clock in the morning. I've always got my 2 freshly squeezed lemon waters. And it's basically water with lemon, but we call them lemon waters the way they're made. But I don't know. There's little things like that. I think I would say the best thing about her is her as a mom, right? And then second best to that is the fact that the anchor and what she does kind of to hold the family together on that end. But worst thing, I'm going to answer it.
Yeah. I know. I like that this guy thinks his wife still listens to every episode of his podcast.
Oh, she doesn't. Yeah. She doesn't listen to me. She's definitely not going to listen to the podcast.
Worst thing is probably, again, 95% on me, 5% her. I'd say worst thing is just her ability to affect my mood. And I think that's with any couple. I truly only believe that married couples or couples that have been together for a really long time can love someone and simultaneously hate them.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Sure. Yeah.
So she has the ability to affect my mood. We've been together since we were 17, a little over 20 years. And it's it's just, that can be brutal.
It's the more you know anybody, really.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
closer you get, the
buttons
Barriers come down.
Yeah. So I think if I had to pick the worst thing, it's her ability to affect me in a negative way. Doesn't necessarily mean she's doing something wrong. She just has that control, and I don't like that.
Well, if there's a high,
you don't like the intimacy of that part.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah.
that would be the same thing with me. I think with any relationships, probably that way.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
So
I don't have a significant other right now, but the worst thing about all of them in the past was that they have a Grindr account.
it's a red flag.
Hey,
Big
red flag gang. So you're attracted to red flags then?
Yes.
Fair enough.
Yes.
I know 1 or 2.
I wear red flag colored goggles.
Yeah. Some of the guys that work for us have red flags tattooed on their neck there.
Well, to be fair, any neck tattoo is a red flag.
That's true. Yeah, that's
True.
very
Yeah,
true.
in Nebraska, you either hit on guys on Craigslist or get hit with a bat.
So you said, and I didn't know how much you want to talk about this, but you said when you came, you were at Idiot Box, and then you came out shortly thereafter. I'm assuming that was 2016?
Yep. Yep, right about there.
And then now the question is, and maybe this is too personal, but I'm curious.
No, I like him.
I have friends and people that I knew that I always knew were gay, and I didn't give a shit. They didn't know they were gay, supposedly. I think they knew they just didn't want to tell anybody else. And then they came out and were like, yeah, I know. 100%. We knew. Oh, you knew? Yeah, 100% we knew. Was it like that with you? Like, did the people close to you really know even before you were saying it? Or were you doing like an awesome job hiding it?
No, I think people that knew me the best probably knew. But I'm hard to know anyway.
Yeah.
Just that's the performance thing, too. It's probably why performance took over a lot. Especially, I mean, singing a little bit in theater stuff I could do, but with the Ozzy band, that was the only way I could get on stage even and go to a mic was when I'm pretending to be somebody else, a totally different character. So I wouldn't have been able to do a band where I use my real name on stage. I wouldn't know what character to be playing. I didn't know how to do that, and it scared me too much. So
yeah.
So I was always playing a character even then.
So now you feel more empowered, right?
Yeah. Now I, well, sometimes.
But you feel like you're not hiding anything.
Yeah. No.
Well, I mean, we're always
I
hiding
don't know.
stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Because I don't know how much of a real person anybody wants you to be on stage anyway.
If all the shit that's in our minds was just constantly audible,
I mean, that's kind of my
it would
problem.
be terrible. It would be chaos.
It's kind of my problem. You know what I mean?
Well, I love when I'm watching Eric and he's like rubbing the wall, and I'm like, he's thinking about some craziness.
Yeah.
Eric has he's got like a filter flap in his mind,
Yeah.
and sometimes it gets stuck on the wrong side.
So 2016. All right. So not long.
What was that like?
Yeah, did it hurt the first time or?
What part?
That didn't come out right.
It was a
The-
joke. It
what
was
was
a
it-
poorly timed joke. He said, "What was it like?" And I was like, "Yeah, did it hurt the first time?"
No, that's good. I just didn't follow it.
What was that experience like? Was it like a burden was lifted, or?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely weight coming off your chest in one aspect of getting a little more real and having at least the ability to learn that I don't want to be in a relationship.
Oh,
you fight for it until you have it. And then, I don't know. I'm pretty good alone. And I think,
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I would say the whole thing was cool to be able to try stand up on it in a way that wasn't already done.
right.
Yeah, I don't know. It felt good for a while, and then I just went into now I'm just a regular person, sort of more than
Right, yeah.
it defining me.
Well, I mean, this time it's totally acceptable. So,
Mhm.
how did your family react to it?
Me and my father are not super talkative. We get along,
Yeah, yeah.
but we don't talk about a lot of real stuff. And
Are
my
you guys
mom's
pretty
always
similar?
Cool. Mom's she just wants everybody to do what makes them happy. So
That's
she's
good.
cool.
Are you and your dad kind of similar in a lot of ways, or?
Yeah, loners.
Yeah.
So I feel for my mom, because
Sure.
I'm like, I know I don't want to do that to somebody right now.
Right.
Because he needs his space like I need my space, but
Yeah.
she doesn't. She's the Edith Bunker,
Oh,
in
yeah,
my
yeah.
house, yeah. And
Sounds like my parents.
yeah, and his salesman stuff, I caught a lot of that to take into the performance world.
Yeah, it's interesting. He's a salesman, but he's also a loner. It's
Well, that's where he has
Yeah.
to recharge alone,
right.
which is me too if I'm performing or
Yeah.
I was
have to
actually
go
going to
home
say,
and be alone.
I get like that because I'm so outwardly like just going nonstop. When I get home, I don't want to. I'm not like a good neighbor.
Yeah. Decompression time.
Yeah, like it's not time for me to entertain. I'm always entertaining, so like when I'm home, it's kind of like my place of solitude. And again, another thing that only people who've been together for a long time will realize, like you want your family there, but you don't want them there. And so
Yeah.
for me, it's like I want them there, like, in the building, you know, or maybe I'm out at the dock and they're in the house. Like, I want them there, and I know they're there, and that's enough. And then I can kind of just sneak into their environment and kind of interact for a little bit, and then when I'm ready, I can just kind of dip back out.
Yeah.
So, like, I kind of get like that
I
a
heard
little bit.
some comedian, it might have been Chris Rock, it doesn't matter. He said, men want to be alone, but we don't want to be lonely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Dave Chappelle, wasn't it?
Might have been.
Yeah.
It's one of-
That-
yeah,
that
it was
describes
recent,
it,
right?
That describes it perfectly. Like, I just,
Yeah.
like, I need my space to recharge. And
What a bunch of dicks.
I know.
I feel that way too, though.
Yeah, I would love to have
know,
Jessica
yeah.
answer the question of what's one thing you love and the thing
No, you don't.
One of these days, we're going to do the Creative Businesswomen,
No.
and it's going to be both of y'all wives.
Yeah, yeah.
The list is
Not
going to be
gonna
very
We'll get
long.
Jesse's wife over here working the switcher. My seat will be empty. We'll figure it out.
So that's the last day of the show.
Yeah.
Show's over, guys.
Hey guys, last episode.
Last episode.
Now, when I write, I like to be close to my family. We have that, actually, we all have that social thing. And,
Yeah.
you know, I love my family more than anything. But when you write, you need to be in your own headspace, in a flow state, you know, no distractions. And I can go to a coffee shop and write and really get lost in it. And I like to be around people, but I don't have to, without interacting with the people. You know, it's kind of like their background noise. But then in my house, I like to be near my family because I like to hear my daughter playing and hear my wife talking to her, interacting with her. But I'm still in my own world, so I'll tell my wife, like, "Hey, I'm gonna sit here and write, so don't bother me." And she always bothers me, so I have to go upstairs. But it is a thing. It's like I want to be close to you guys, but just don't talk to me.
Yeah.
You know?
I think maybe we've got it wrong. Maybe we should go swordfish style, and you know, and you should be sitting there writing while she's trying to distract you on purpose.
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
enough challenges.
That could be more fun. Did anybody else watch Swordfish? That's the
It's been a
question.
long time, but I've watched it.
Does anybody get the reference? You're gonna have to check
Yeah,
the scene.
I think
This is where we'll cut to the actual movie Swordfish.
You need to cut the swordfish. There's a scene where the hacker has a computer out, and there's a thing that takes place that he's got a tremendous amount of stress. A lot of pressure builds up, and he's got, say, you know, I don't know, 30 or 60 seconds to crack the code before one or two things happens. And he cracks the code, and the other thing happens. So it was a good thing. But there's a little clip in Swordfish that you should check out, and it's a good scene with John Travolta and
Halle Berry.
and one other one. But anyway,
Can't remember.
so very, very good. We should cut to that. Neil, you should try that out tonight with Danielle.
Yeah.
See how focused you are.
That's a movie.
Chris, your siblings are both basketball players.
Oh, yeah.
And like pretty good ones too, yeah?
Yeah. My sister was athlete of the year at High Point University
Wow.
2 years in a row. I think she was the first female player to ever have it 2 years in a row or something like that.
It's incredible.
And my brother has played for Bucknell University and did March Madness a couple years ago. So that was cool. Got to go to that. And I've been watching, like, they both started that so young. They were both dribbling, like, when they were walking, learning to walk. And I went to so many games, and this is evidence of ADHD. All my life, I've been at basketball games.
Yeah.
And being in my head, this evidence of all this, like, and I still don't know the rules at all.
So you're at the game, but you weren't at the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I when they're on the court, I watch them,
Yeah.
but I don't watch the ball.
You know what else is happening. Yeah.
You know when they score.
Yeah.
You don't know what the score is.
Yes.
How much are they? How much younger are they than you?
Stacia is 4 years younger than me, and my brother Benjamin is 5 years younger than her. He's 9 years younger.
Oh wow. So you guys are spread out.
Mm-hmm. He is easily my best friend now,
That's cool.
and we have the identical sense of humor. We could quote Pee-wee's Big Adventure for hours and hours.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
Hours. Or, you know, like right now, or we went to the new Halloween movie the other night because we've always watched all the Michael Myers movies together.
Oh, that's
and-
cool. I'm a big horror fan too.
Yeah, and so we're going to Universal Studios for Halloween this year.
Nice.
And
That's
which
awesome.
is so our thing is Universal Studios, and it always has been their whole life, which is why I wanted to work there so bad.
That's
And
good. We were just down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, sweet. So we're gonna do that on Halloween.
Yeah,
and
we were
then
leaving the
stay.
park as they were getting. There's like
Started the Halloween thing. Yeah.
yeah, it started.
Mhm.
I guess there's like a 2-hour window before the Halloween thing, so they empty the park and then let everybody back in. But yeah, it looks very interesting.
It looked cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I was always blown away by those event ride thing, just the mechanics behind them and the amount
yeah.
of creativity that goes into those, and how many people have to do it, and it's just
Oh, yeah.
it's horrifying to be in charge of something like that to me, and so I just respect that so much.
Yeah.
Neil, you were saying that you had just seen you were on one of those rides that was specifically like really cool for you, right?
Oh, yeah, several. Yeah,
Yeah.
many of those rides are awesome. Have you ridden the new Harry Potter?
Oh yeah, the
Right.
Hagrid one.
Yeah, the Hagrid ride.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
incredible, man. Yeah.
Where it's got the surprise drop in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's so awesome. Yeah.
And then all the digital rides where you're in a modular unit, and it feels like you're in a vehicle, like the Transformers ride and stuff like that. It's
Mm-hmm.
really incredible how smooth they are and how well they work.
Yeah.
It's very immersive.
My favorite ride is still the Mummy.
Oh yeah, we did that one.
Just because it's the better version of the Space Mountain to me.
Oh, okay.
The dark because they put enough effects in there, and when the ceiling lights on fire, that was always such a fantastic
Yeah.
show that you get in the middle of a high speed
Sure.
coaster. So
Did you do the Fast and Furious?
yeah, that's my least favorite ride.
It was interesting though.
yeah.
It was still pretty submersive, which was neat.
Mhm.
And then some of the theater style experiences were cool. My daughter really liked the what are those little yellow things called? The Minions.
Oh yeah,
The Minions ride. Yeah, or the Minions experience, I guess.
Yeah.
That was pretty
The
fun.
main reason we're going on Halloween this year is because they have a Beetlejuice maze this year.
Oh, that's
for the
awesome.
first time, or it's maze or a walk-through event,
That would be awesome.
and it's scenes from the film,
Oh,
the
wow.
Tim Burton film. So I don't know, I haven't looked anything up because I want to experience it for real. But I was like, wow, that's gonna be fun.
My wife and I love Beetlejuice. So that would be
That was like my favorite
be
movie of
super
all
cool.
time, probably. That's still, I think, my actual religion. Like what I think will happen when you die, for real. I think that's probably exactly what I'll always think
interesting.
when I'm dying. I'm like, I guess I'm going to go into that waiting room now.
That'd be kind of cool, actually.
Yeah,
It looks like a fun place.
I know, right?
That's interesting.
And that really, I knew that was what. That was my biggest inspiration too. Was like either the Norm kind of comedy or this Tim Burton in the early '90s, like
Right.
weird, wacky, whimsical
Yeah.
claymation world, and all that was super
Yeah.
cool to me. Like the weirdos made a movie,
Right,
Like,
yeah.
the weirdos like me at school or
Well,
whatever.
it's just so imaginative. It's one of my favorite movies too.
Mhm.
That E.T. is probably E.T. is my favorite movie just because of it has some sentimental value to it.
Yeah.
I saw it in the drive-in theater with my parents when I was like 3,
Oh, nice.
and I still remember it vividly. It was a really cool experience. It was kind of scary
Mm-hmm.
as a 3-year-old,
Oh yeah.
but as a kid, I loved that movie, and I still do. But yeah, Beetlejuice was one of the top
Mhm.
favorites.
Yeah. Again, it's part of my love for that too was just being able to do the Michael Keaton voice and like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just all those characters that you could imitate. were
He's a brilliant
way
actor,
more
too.
fun. Yeah.
Like all of his stuff holds up today.
Oh yeah.
Even those early '80s movies, they're still great.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of those movies back then, they're terrible now, but Michael Keaton stuff is still.
Yeah, he's one of my
Top
favorites, and the fact that he was so involved with the Comedy Store, I really
Yeah.
didn't know that he was a comedian first.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
wow.
there's a great Comedy Store documentary where they talk about him being a comedian and all of that.
Does he have any specials or anything?
No, he got into acting really
Early on.
the
Yeah.
Mr. Mom stuff and all of that. And then then he was fucking Batman and he was done with everything.
Right.
What you said you went and saw a movie last night. What did you see?
Oh yeah, Halloween Kills.
Yeah, I want
Which
to see
was
that.
what I wanted.
Was it good?
I understand that. I understand critique. I can be a film critic too.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's what you wanted. It's what I wanted as a fan of the originals. And
Right, yeah,
you
yeah.
don't need perfect plot. I mean,
Now,
you don't need those things.
Is that the one that what's his name worked on?
David Gordon Green and Danny McBride.
Danny McBride, yeah. Yeah, which
they
was like
shot
a
it
big
in
shock, right? Like,
Wilmington, I think, North Carolina.
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, Danny McBride actually went to the School of the Arts in Winston, I believe. Yeah,
Nice.
that's interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was shot especially beautifully.
I
And I
can't
can
wait to see
always
it.
I can ignore some issues if the cinematography is gorgeous too, you know.
Right, yeah.
And Halloween Kills. I had a friend that was in that. He was just an extra in it, but he had a great time. He's
Yeah,
like in
nice.
one shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that would be a dream for me though too.
Yeah, right. Getting
just
paid
cool,
to be in a movie.
Yeah. I thought about going down. I remember when Jurassic World was filming in this New Orleans, and I was like, I'm just gonna drive and try.
Yeah.
To be in a Jurassic movie would also be another thing. Like, oh shit.
Right.
Yeah. Are you still doing any filmmaking stuff, or?
It's I'm writing. I love writing screenplays. I guess because especially when you're writing and you allow yourself to get as crazy as I think you need to get,
Sure.
like, as almost imitating of what a dumb person thinks a schizophrenic is, you know?
Right.
And so when you're letting the voices come, like when I try to write with a whiteboard because my hand can go faster than I can type. And so I'll get some lines coming out sort of as if the characters are actually talking to each other in that amount of time on a whiteboard. So it feels real. It feels like you're improvising music, same thing.
Yeah.
You're improvising characters.
Yes.
And I think because I was always geared more to stand-up than improv, it's only because I'm such a loner in my brain, and I love coming up with both sides of the dialogue myself.
Right. Yeah.
It just feels insane, and it's out of body because you're jumping from a soul to another soul. And I tried to write a horror movie and I couldn't do it because I actually tried to do like a Lecter kind of character.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I was like actually losing my mind. So I can tap into something where it's fun when you're doing a comedy script. Or
Screenwriting's fun. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I've never written a comedy. Well, I've written a couple of comedy scripts, but
I just
like
consider it
horror.
all comedy because I couldn't write something that didn't have comedy. Like,
Oh, okay.
So if it's a Tarantino style action thing too, I got to go the Tarantino way and add comedy into it. You know, like
Yeah.
I don't know how to do anything else than that.
Yeah.
Break up the seriousness of
Right.
everything.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun to write humor and everything, but yeah, getting better at that. But I understand what you're saying with the screenwriting, though. You do get lost in it, and then things will happen, and you're like, "Oh, that's why this person feels this way, or that's why, this is going to happen this way." And,
Yeah.
Or sometimes new characters will emerge in the writing.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes new characters will emerge, and you'll kind of take you take like a side path and create something else that you end up cutting that out of the story, but
Yeah.
There's
I also
still fun.
hate storyboarding.
Oh, really?
It's my least favorite thing on earth.
I like the storyboard.
I think
It's Neil's
it
favorite
ruins me. It ruins my process because I like just letting shit go where it's gonna go.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's even. If I have the scene written and it's done, and then I can kind of storyboard just what shots need to be there.
Right, yeah.
But if I did a whole.
Well, I like the scene
thing.
board. Really,
Yeah.
that's
It's a benefit of a team, right? I mean, if you each have strengths that you enjoy, then passing that back and forth seems like the most efficient way to get that done.
Yeah.
it's true. Yeah,
I used to storyboard all the time. I've been making movies for well over 20 years, but I used to storyboard everything in school. Then after that, I realized, well, the fucking location's going to kick you in the ass anyway. And you know standard coverage
yeah,
already,
yeah.
so get the point where the best direction you get your wide shot and move in from there,
Yeah. No, if I could improvise everything I always do my whole life, I probably would.
Same.
That's the only reason the screenplay process that I do it a specific way that I do it works. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Do you figure out the story before you start writing it, or do you?
I've tried
What's
to
your process?
do what people say,
Yeah.
to do.
Because I usually write a paradigm.
And you follow a what's the name of the book that you use?
I do the
That you really like?
Sid Fields
Fields,
method.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I've read that book. I liked that book a lot. That had some charts that fit my brain a little easier to
Yeah.
look at.
That's why I like it. I'm a structured person, so I like to write out the paradigm, figure out the general idea of the story, like where it's going, and some of the plot points, and then I start writing scenes to figure out more of the story, and then when I sit down and write the actual script, that's when a lot of new stuff happens.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
and writing backstories for characters and stuff. But
I just kind of like going from page one
okay,
and just seeing how far I can go without until I come to the okay, what's the point or what is the end?
so you do
Gonna
a
be-
really long first draft, and then
Yeah, but I just kind of do it and like when I'm in the mood to start a new script, I just do it for like 12 hours straight.
okay, yeah,
And then at the end of that day, if it's shit, then whatever. It was just one day. You know, you throw it or you look at it later and never do anything with it again.
I mean,
Right.
even if you
Look at
throw that away, that one day, it still informs the next process, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, I did this, didn't like it. Now I won't do that again. I can do the next thing differently.
well, you're getting better at the craft.
Yeah.
It's 12 hours.
I have
invested.
probably 12 scripts that are 30 pages in, you know.
yeah. I've got a few of those. Yeah.
One of them is called Peter Pumpkin Eater.
Is that a drama?
Yeah, it stars John Goodman. That's all I really know. There's 30 pages of me with John Goodman and his now dead wife, who's played by the great Laurie Metcalf. So it's a mini Roseanne reunion too.
I was going to ask you
Terrible
about that.
idea.
There are TV shows that you specifically love that you're attached to.
Oh, yeah.
Roseanne is one of them.
It's a great show.
Yeah.
Alf,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, Alf's a great one.
Well, Roseanne is an insane thing now to me because Roseanne was my all-time hero.
Yeah.
Because back when Hillary Clinton was anti-gay marriage, Roseanne was pro-gay marriage. So our entire universe is flipped, you know, as far as like what society looks at as right and wrong on the left, you know, because Roseanne was wildly progressive.
Yeah.
And now she's just wildly into YouTube.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't,
She's still just Roseanne.
yeah, I don't hate people that have, in my opinion, been duped by a lot of the stuff
Right,
that's
yeah, yeah.
happened in the world. Like, it's just the internet, man.
Yeah.
Like, we're all crazy on something. There are cool conspiracy theories still, too.
Right.
But, I don't know. That's a long...
I wonder what Bill Clinton would say if he was asked that question by your friend. You know, name one thing you love about Hillary and one thing you hate.
Yeah.
I wonder what his answer would be.
It would be that she's a forgiving woman, but she keeps too many emails.
That's a good answer. That's funny. So it's interesting that you're just an artist. Like you like a lot of different things, and you
I'm
like
just
to create.
ADHD. That's the most thing that defines me. I
And you
think.
found a way to be successful at that, which is very cool.
Luck.
What's next for you? What are your plans?
Well, like I said, I will work for Ann Wilson until she doesn't want me anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, she's the greatest person ever. I've been with her 5 years now, and I've, seen her have a bad day, but never ever did anybody else have a bad day because she was having a bad day.
Right. Yeah,
She's
that's
not
good.
that kind of person. She's so thoughtful and giving and a true artist. So it's so
Yeah.
fun to do some crazy shit with her. We had this little series online called Da Shoe because fans were always loving her shoes because she's got this really kick-ass shoe collection and wears different ones on stage every night and stuff, so it's a thing. So then we just brought a shoe to life and shot it in a really cheesy, low budget, super, just me and a lamp, or whatever. and then she was doing voiceovers with me playing this shoe and her playing herself in some things. And then we brought in these robot spiders, like remote control spiders, and who were giving like Eastern philosophy lessons. Like really wild stuff that was so, we'd get one done, she'd sign off on it, and I'd be like, what?
Just playing.
She liked this?
fun.
What?
Yeah.
My
Playing
mother
like a kid.
hates them.
How are they doing?
You know, they're,
Like,
they're so insane.
how are they being received?
The masses don't much care for them. Which is, again, my dream. So it's all good.
This whole thing is kind of a dream job for you, yeah. I mean,
Oh,
the Ann
man.
Wilson thing. I remember specifically when you made your first project with her, and I found out. I messaged you because you're one of the first people I knew that always told me about the things you liked and never really criticized much. And I remember you specifically saying how much you loved Ann Wilson. And when you got to work with her, I was so excited for you because I knew it was where you wanted to be, and you had no idea that you could do it. And then you did it, and it was awesome.
Yeah, it's still so surreal to me when I jump out of it, you know. When you're in it and you're working, or you might be complaining about some crazy thing, you know, or the staircase backstage last week, for instance. It was a 100-year-old theater and 2 flights of stairs. A little thing like that you start to complain about, and then you're like, oh, no, that's insane. Let's not complain today. I get to shoot the insane show tonight, and yeah, and like when I got my first real paycheck on a cruise ship in 2015, or no, that was, I don't remember, 2014 maybe, 13. So then Hart was playing a mini residency at the House of Blues in Vegas, and my first paycheck went to a trip by myself to go to the House of Blues in Vegas because I had only seen Hart in like amphitheaters and big places, and this was a general admission floor. So I knew nobody would be able to sit down.
Oh, yeah.
Which makes the show, when you're at a rock show, if nobody can sit, it's a far better show. And you don't get to see many of those in the U.S. anymore.
No, yeah.
Those are like European festivals that have general admission floors. And so I went to that 3 nights in a row. You can still ask me to name 3 songs on the second album or the third album of Hart, and I don't know, because I wasn't a big Hart original fan.
Yeah.
I was a fan of Ann Wilson's voice currently.
Okay.
Like, when I listen to the first Hart album, I don't get a whole lot as much out of it as I do listening to a live concert of her today, because as a vocalist, she is far, far superior, matured. She never stopped learning.
When were you born? 86, 85, 86?
88.
88, yeah. So I was born in the 80s, so a lot of those songs, the early songs, they take me back to then, which is cool.
And like I learned all the original Hart songs on Guitar Hero.
Oh, wow.
That's how I heard them. That's the only time I'd ever heard them. So, but Ann's current voice, I went in 2007 because Ozzy was my biggest inspiration as a performer and character, and just fun frontman who was always smiling, which is so. Smiling and laughing is so enormously important to me.
Yeah.
And so I went to Vegas in 2007 to see Ozzy get inducted to the VH1 Rock Honors or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But it was Ozzy and Genesis and Hart and ZZ Top.
Wow.
And so I went for Ozzy, and then I left like, oh, Ann Wilson, holy God, because she sang a song called Lost Angel that to this day is still one of my favorite songs ever written, and mostly performed.
Well, I guess her and Phil Collins probably have held up the best.
Yeah, I haven't seen Phil lately.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen him in a while, but at that time.
That was great. And also, Robin Williams introduced Genesis that night.
Oh, shit.
Oh, that's amazing.
Oh, my God. And he did like at least 20 minutes of unscripted stand-up for the arena. And then was like, okay, I'll go to the Cards. And was like very begrudgingly. So we got a whole show that was not televised, and that's who he was. So it was cool to see that in person. And it was so that's where I introduced to Ann Wilson's voice, and then from there on, anytime she was in an 8-hour drive vicinity, I would try my darndest to get there, just to watch her sing and to feel the body chills. Because I think because I was such a stuck-up singer as a kid, and I really only listened to very, very, very good singers, and it kept me out of a lot of hearing a lot of great music because I was too stuck up about singing. Yeah. But I think it took so long for me to actually then, I got numb to a lot of good singing. Yeah. So then for me to hear Ann and get body chills, it was the first time I'd ever felt body chills from a singer in my life because I was always so picky.
She just connected.
And there was like the High Note and Alone live in 2012 in Minnesota at Mystic Lake Casino. I will forever remember that exact moment because it just penetrated me like a bolt of lightning, and I was like, I'm forever changed. I have to figure out how to do that or get to know that person so I can just be like her. It was sort of like that. Like, I want to learn everything about the person that this person is because I know they're mortal. Yeah. But I saw something totally immortal.
Well, I talk about that a lot as you see these incredible artists and they're like volcanoes of creativity. Yeah. It's like they just
volcano is perfect.
You have millions of ideas that are just coming together and flowing through this person. It's humanity. It's an expression of all of humanity. And I think I look at all types of art as, they're all expressions of us, of humanity, different aspects of humanity. And it's funny when people they have negative takes on certain art, but it's all us. Whether it's if it's Ann Wilson or if it's some death metal band, it's still an expression of all of our experiences, and they're all important. Maybe it's an expression of power or suffering, or maybe it's an expression of love, or happiness. But it's all the same. That's the importance of art. Art is the opposite of tyranny.
Yeah,
creativity
and like finding your home, like finding the closest thing that resembles what home should feel like.
Right.
And to me, that's singing, and that's now that I know Ann too. I know. Specifically, she's verbalized that is how she feels when she's singing. Like that's what people are supposed to be doing. You get in that situation and do it as often as you can.
Yeah, that's cool.
Or be around it.
Right.
For God's sake. I mean, 53 shows in 2019. That's what I was thinking about. Like now I'm paid to see 53 in a row, as opposed to those 3 in a row that I paid my own money for.
And you're associating with one of the best artists. Of our time,
and the greatest singers. I mean, she is, in my opinion, today the greatest rock singer in the world. Like, nobody can beat it. To me
as a vocal snob, that compliment has weight.
Yeah, and I felt that way in 2007, right when I heard her. Like, I was like, there's nobody in the world can top this. No. So.
That's awesome. Well, Criss, it's been a real pleasure having you on the show, man.
Thanks.
Do you have any projects that you're working on right now you want to talk about or throw out there?
Social media plugs?
Yeah, how can people follow you?
Let's follow Ann Wilson on YouTube, 1,000,000%.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
A lot of that stuff is you have a hand in filming.
There's no E in Ann, for God's sake, people.
A-N-N.
A-N-N Wilson.
As the Lord intended it.
She has I know what you should do. You should check out Howlin' Live. It's spelled Howlen. Howlin' Live. She recorded it on her first leg this year post-COVID, which was like a triumphant moment for all of us in the industry. It was like, oh my God, we get to play a gig. And so they recorded this thing in June, and it's a 4-song EP with Barracuda, Crazy on You, Blackwing, which is a new insanely great song that she has this crazy flute solo on because she's a incredible flautist as well, whatever you call it. And then I think it's a Zeppelin cover on there too. I don't remember the 4th song. Oh, no. It's a new cover that she did of Love of My Life by Queen.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
So, check that out. That's cool as hell.
All right. And they need to check you out too. So how can they follow you on Instagram?
Yeah. I'm Criss Cain, CRISSCAIN. I think Instagram, there's a "the" before it. Criss Cain.
Awesome. Because you're an incredibly talented artist too, man.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah,
appreciate it. This was fun.
We heard you sing.
This is such a great studio. Oh my God.
Oh, thanks.
I'd come in here every day. This is awesome.
We're trying.
Yeah, beautiful.
We're going to have you back a bunch, and I have some ideas I want to talk to you about when we cut this. We're going to do some stuff about Alf.
Yeah, baby.
Probably do that on Eric's show. It's
Yeah.
a little more conducive of
kill
Alf
me.
stuff. So
Willie. There's my perfect Alf. It's just one word. It's Willie. That's the Alf impression. One of those micro impressions like
That's
Dana
funny.
Carvey does.
it took me back. It was accurate.
Willie. Nah. Anyway.
Okay, guys. Hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Ooh, suck on my chocolate salty balls.